Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an iRacing production of the Silver Crown Cup cars here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My name is Patrick Byrne here on the National Race Network, and tonight we have 40 laps of action here at the Speedway with the Silver Crowns. These cars are absolute beasts around this circuit. Basically what IndyCar would have become if they didn't grow wings or turbochargers or any of that modern stuff. This is basically what they were in the 1960s. Practice just getting underway. Getting ready to pull the cars all in and bring them out for qualifying. Going to have a 3-minute qualifying session here. Just waiting for everyone to get out there on track. The first guy we'll keep our eye on is Tracy Petter in that number 2 car. Tracy has been fast here all season long, and at the super speedways, he does pretty good for himself. Normally towards the front of the field, always, but the speedways especially seems to really take control of the draft. Derek Love, another driver in that Street Side Classics number 3 car. Always fast at the bigger tracks. Hasn't struggled much with speed this season so far, but has had some issues with contact with other cars, just bad luck getting taken out in other people's messes. So hopefully we can see him up towards the front. Sign on checking in. Yeah, if they stayed front engine, that is a big key. IndyCar went to the rear engine cars sometime in the early 60s and haven't really looked back since. The Roadsters are definitely a bygone era. Also, no Chris Graham here in the booth tonight. He is out shooting a rear world show. Out in the middle of Pennsylvania, shooting some 600 micro sprints. So, best of luck with that adventure. And I've got control of the show here for the Silver Crowns. 3 minutes remaining in qualifying. Nobody out there just yet setting a time. This should be Derek Love's first time lap. Let's see how quick he can go. Derek Love going to be the first guy with a time on the board. That's going to be a 51.766. Brandon Buckberger second quick with a 52.164, 4/10 of a second back. Laura Gerhardt going second quick, better than Brandon, going to be a 51.876, 10th of a second behind Derek Love. Tracy Petter going fourth quick. Ben Carswell, the wild card, coming in only a 10th of a second slow of Derek Love, 51.863. Ben Carswell still out there on track. Let's see if we can ride on board with him and see what he's doing to get around this place. Very basic minimalistic dashboard here on these cars. You don't really have a full tack. It just gives you the first 2 digits of your RPM, and that's about it. You see those 2 yellow lights up there? They let you know if the caution flag's out. They start flashing. You got a water temp gauge, an oil pressure gauge, and an on-off switch, and not really much else. One big key tonight is going to be that weight jacker adjustment, though. You do have one of those, and that's going to allow you to change the balance of the car as the race goes on. But Thomas Lewandowski goes new quick time, 51.442. Best Derek Love by 0.3 of a second. You can see he's really wheeling that machine all around this track, that number 4 car. This track in these cars is so difficult because car doesn't want to turn at all, and then you get to exit and you want to slam on the power, and we'll watch him as he comes out of turn 4. You're going to see a little bit of counter steer as he tries to bring it up to the wall. That was turn number 3. You're going to push right up to the wall, and out of turn number 4, the car's going to want to snap a little bit, and you're going to have to chase it up. Let's see what he does. No, he gets it just perfect. Kenneth Gurrell going second quick, 1/4 of a second behind Lewandowski. Batista beats Gurrell with a 51.609. He's going to be second quick. James Watson moves up to the 4th position. Looks like just about everyone has completed their run. Derek Rovaled on his second time lap. His first time lap was a 28.202, so that one did not count. Let's see if he can make this next one count, though. As he comes out of turn number 4, this is going to be his final time lap, so must have hit the wall on his first attempt. As he comes across the start-finish line, that one is unfortunately not going to count either for him. So he's going to be starting towards the back of the pack, looks like in the 17th position. David Kloptowski, he's going to start in the 18th position, and DL Lemon, if he doesn't get a time on the board, is going to start in the 19th position. So 19 cars on the board today. A pretty large field here for the Silver Crowns, and a decent-sized field here for Indy. 500, of course, has 33 starters, but here in the Silver Crowns, I'm not sure there's room for 33 of these beasts on this track. These things are about twice the size of the Indy cars. So Thomas Lewandowski is going to be your pole sitter in that number 4 car. Josh Batista is going to start to his outside in the number 9 car. Your second row will have Kenneth Gurrell, James Watson. Row number 3, Derek Love and Mitch Drevnosky. Ben Carswell and Laura Gerhardt on row number 4. Zach Evans and Tracy Petter, row number 5. Nick Camargo and Brandon Buckberger, row number 6. Row number 7 will have Colton Tyndall and Jeffrey Stanton. Row number 8, Joe Gauthier and Jacob Dunn. Row number 9 will have Derek Rovalin and David Kloptowski, and DL Lemon is going to round out your field. No fancy graphics this time. Just got to wait for them all to get onto the racetrack, and we can give you a look at what the starting grid's going to look like. I think that is one of the better TWR schemes I have seen. Nice black base with the multicolor over the top of the car. James Watson, you see the owner of Team Watson Racing Setups there in that 4th position in the number 39 car. A little bit more obnoxiously painted out of that one. Just waiting for a couple more cars to get on the grid. One full pace lap, 2.5 miles around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before we can get this thing underway. This track is one of the most brutal tracks to have a pace lap at because it is so slow. It's one of the faster circuits on the schedule in terms of pace speed, but 70 miles an hour around a track you're usually lapping at 200 is brutal. Pace car wasting no time to get up to speed though. Field making their way down the backstretch now, 2x2, 9 rows back, with DL Lemon bringing up the very back of the field. He's going to be a fun one to watch claw his way up through this one. He seems to be very, very fast, these super speedways. This track, you don't think of it with these cars not having wings, but it is a very, very draft-heavy track, and you're going to notice some packs build up, see who's real fast, and you're going to notice a breakaway towards the back of the field. Some of the cars might fall off the draft, get hung out to dry, and without a caution, it's almost impossible to make your way back up through the field. Thank you very much, $10 from Cody Brooks. Sending over a little gif of what looks like an avocado flying around in the air, which is freaking awesome, dude. Pace car getting ready to come in off of turn number 4. Going to take the late dive, almost hits the attenuator. Thomas Lewandowski is now going to be in control of the race. Gets off to a fantastic start. Easily clears the number 20 car of David Kloptowski. field very quickly singles out. Excuse me, that's a 20 car of Josh Batista. My graphics are not showing the right numbers today. David Kloptowski opting to start from the pits. So, unfortunately, going to be well off the pace, but if we do get caution, he'll be right back up there. Josh Batista all over the rear bumper of the number 4 car of Thomas Lewandowski. These cars got fast bars for a reason, but they're very pointy on the back end, and not sure I would advise bump drafting here in these cars. Kenneth Gurrell going to be chasing right behind them, but he's got to worry about a mirror full of the number 3 of Derek Love. That is if these cars had mirrors. You cannot see behind you at all. Got to rely on your spotter not to end up wrecked, upside down, and in the fence. Derek Love going to take the dive towards the inside, try and get by Kenneth Gurrell. It looks like he's going to be successful in that attempt. James Watson going to try and follow behind and repeat the maneuver. Thomas Lewandowski breaking away from the pack. I don't normally see this here at Indy, but Derek Love and Gurrell are going to try and bump draft down the back straightaway and close that gap right back up. Derek Love already up to second place. Gurrell's going to follow him through. That's going to be your top 3. Let's see if they can get back together in a tandem and go down the front stretch. Josh Batista going to move to the inside, try and block James Watson. Watson's going to dive back to the inside. He's going to be all by himself, though. Has to slot back in line, try not to lose the draft. Lewandowski's going to try and snake down to the inside and break the draft from everyone. Try and pull away to even further of a gap. He goes new quick time without any drafting help. Fastest lap going to be a 51.895. So that car is dialed in, set up well. I almost wonder if he doesn't have enough fuel in that car. We're going to have to watch and see if he's got to make a pit stop and fill her up again. Top 5 have very clearly broken away. Brandon Buchberger leading the second pack of cars. Right behind him is going to be Tracy Petter and Ben Carswell fighting side by side. Petter gets ahead of both of them. Then it's going to be the number 1 of Mitch Stravnosky. He's going to try and follow Petter up the inside and see if they can catch up to Buchberger and try and catch that top pack. We'll put our eyes back on this top group of 5 cars. They all seem to be single file and playing very, very nice. I almost wonder if Derek Love is kind of laying back. Josh Batista definitely isn't. He goes new quick time, and Kenneth Gurrell goes even faster, working on lap number 4 out of 40 with a 51.774. These guys are in a hurry. We're already a 10th of the way through this, or yeah, 10th of the way through this race. This one's going to go by quickly. Not a lot of laps, not a lot of corners, definitely in a lot of straightaway time. It's not like the short tracks where we go in circles all day long. Here you've got a lot of time where it's almost like a drag race before you have to back her down and get her into the corners. Derek Love moving to the inside, maybe a little prematurely, expecting Lewandowski to make that dive to the inside, try and break the draft, and unfortunately that's just going to allow Lewandowski to get himself out to an even bigger lead. He seems to be picking up 50 thousandths of a second each corner. Loses a little bit down the straightaways, but not a whole ton. The draft isn't super strong in these cars. It's just strong enough to build that bit of a breakaway, build up a pack of cars. Derek Love, however, right on the rear bumper of Thomas Lewandowski now. Not quite close enough to make the move, but definitely close enough to make him a little bit nervous. Lewandowski's going to be snaking all up and down this front stretch, trying to keep Derek Love behind. Derek Love backs out of it early. You can see him kind of step on the brakes in the straightaway. Not quite close enough to make the dive in the turn number 1. But that breakaway gives him some space to try and get another huge run in the turn number 4. We saw Kenneth Gurrell tag the wall a little bit there on the exit of turn number 1. Some damage on the Kardashian of that car right in front. At the short tracks, that's not going to hurt you very much. But here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I wouldn't be surprised that car starts falling off a whole bunch. He's already 0.3 of a second behind James Watson. Does pick up about half a tenth in turn number 3, so that car might not be as badly damaged as I think it is. Closest battle on track is going to be for the 10th position. These guys are all over each other. Bump drafting between Tracy Petter and Mitch Drevnosky, trying to catch Brandon Buckberger. Doesn't seem like they're picking up any time on him, though, but I'm sure if they quit locking bumpers, they're going to fall right away from him, and Buckberger might be able to catch these top guys if they start having some issues. Working lap number 7 of 40 now as they come down the backstretch. Now, throughout this race, these guys are going to be using the weight jacker, and I imagine they're going to be moving it further and further towards the right rear, trying to loosen these cars up. Not a lot of banking here, only 9 degrees at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so these cars are going to want to push right up into the wall like we saw Kenneth Grell's car do coming out of 1. Derek Love makes the dive towards the inside, going to be side by side with Lewandowski through turn number 1. Lewandowski's going to have to get out of it, stay out of the wall. They still remain side by side. Lewandowski with the advantage in the turn number 2. Derek Love still there on the inside, and Josh Batista is going to have a run to catch right up to these guys. Does he make a shove to the inside, take it 3 wide? No, he's going to give Derek Love a shove. Still side by side between these top 2 drivers. James Watson looking to battle as well. Still side by side through turn number 3. Not going to see this in the modern era with the wings on the car, but without the wings on the cars, you have to get super, super hard on the brakes, and it allows for some side-by-side action here at Indy. Bottom line is still preferred, and we see Derek Love almost clear of Lewandowski now. He's going to take the top spot as they cross the start-finish line. Give that lap to Derek Love. Love safely in the lead now, and now Josh Batista is going to be right underneath Thomas Lewandowski. They're going to be side-by-side as they make the next lap around. Watson goes to shoot to the inside and follow Batista up. Not able to do it. Gurrell is there. Gurrell takes the 4th position away from James Watson with that damaged front bumper on that car. Looked like just a touch of contact between Batista and Lewandowski. They get away safely, though. James Watson looking to the inside of Gurrell. It looks like he's going to try and take it here. Gurrell gets loose, has to catch the car, and he's going to fall back from this pack just a little bit. Lewandowski's going to be on the attack now as we're working lap number 9, about to be lap number 10, already a quarter of the way through this show and not a caution yet. Derek Love goes for the block. Lewandowski doesn't get on the binders. He's still going to be side by side. Lewandowski with the advantage coming into turn number 1. He's going to have the inside and the nose. Derek Love slots in right behind them. They're going to go back to single file. Love, maybe not. He looks like he got a little bit of a run, was going to look on the outside. Let's see if he can cross him up out of turn number 2. He does. He's going to be the inside, and Batista is going to try and give him a shove down the backstretch. Batista still all over the fuel tank of Derek Love. These guys making some contact in some of the earlier races. This time they're making contact for good, though. Haven't wrecked each other yet, and seems to be helping each other try and take the lead of this race. But these guys, they'll play nice in the beginning of this race, but once that checkered flag starts getting ready to be waved, all bets are off, and everyone's going out there just to win for themselves. James Watson going to try and push teammate Thomas Lewandowski down the front stretch. Now he dives to the inside. He's going to try and get by Lewandowski and see if he can chase down Derek Love. He's going to be side by side, has to slot in behind Lewandowski, still going to be there to the inside. Lewandowski looks like he's battling a little bit of a loose race car. Watson looks like he's got a tight one. Maybe not. Gets a little squirrely off of turn number 2. Has to chase it down to the inside. Batista's going to try and push him now down the backstretch. Kenneth Gurrell wants a piece of it, though, and he's going to try and get 3rd from the outside. Let's ride on board with the number 4 of Thomas Lewandowski. See how much he's working that wheel through the corners, trying to keep the car in one piece. Saw him battling a loose race car before. Let's see if this thing is still loose or if he got on the weight jacker a little bit and tried to tighten her up. You can see how gently he has to move that steering wheel. Any quick movements not only scrubs off speed, but can very easily upset the car. Not sawing at the wheel very much at all. That means he's very happy with the way this thing is handling. So definitely dialed in from him. He was able to pull away from the rest of the cars while he was by himself out there in the front. So think he's got a little bit of faster machinery than Derek Love, but Derek Love doing a very good job of keeping that car very, very wide, not letting Thomas Lewandowski by. Let's see if he can get anything done. Get a run off of turn number 4. Both of them have to chase the car up just a little bit. These things definitely on edge. James Watson's got to be back there looking. We're going to keep our eyes on Lewandowski, though, as he takes the peek to the inside, but doesn't get anything done there. Has to get in the binders as Derek Love is slow in the mid-corner. You can see how much this car wants to rotate. A little bit of counter steer coming into the middle of turn number 1. Turn number 2, can he get to the inside? Derek Love having to chase that car. It's all yawed out of shape. And that's going to give Lewandowski the advantage. He's going to be side by side now going down the backstretch. Lewandowski on the inside. He's got the advantage. Can Derek Love cross him up coming out of turn number 4? James Watson going to be right there looking to the inside as well, keeping the pressure on Derek Love. Love gets the move on the inside. They're going to be side by side now coming down the front stretch. It's almost a repeat of what happened last lap. If these guys want to swap spots like this each lap, I would love that. That would be fantastic. They were dead even across the line. It gave that lap to Derek Love. Derek Love takes over the top spot once again. He gets a little loose, though, and Lewandowski's going to try and take it from the high side. Watson goes to opponent. Derek Love chooses not to push teammate Lewandowski down the back straightaway. Love's going to have the advantage in the turn number 3. And with Watson right behind him, that's going to give him the advantage down the straightaway, too, if Watson doesn't move up to help Lewandowski on the high side. Too wide, 2 rows back now for the top spot. Kenneth Gurrell falling off a little bit from this pack. Brandon Buchberger only a second behind Gurrell, so he seems to be closing that gap all on his own. He has picked up 2 seconds over Ben Carswell in that second pack. We're going to keep our eyes right here at the front, though, as Derek Love is still side by side with the number 4 car of Lewandowski. They swap spots. Love had it in the mid-corner. Lewandowski has the advantage down the back straightaway. Watson can't decide what car he wants to help push down the backstretch. Kind of flip-flops every other lap, working lap number 15 out of 40 now. Derek Love safely in the lead as he's going to cross the line this lap, but I don't imagine it'll stay that way once they get to the back straightaway. Batista and Watson going to try and push themselves in front of Lewandowski, shuffle Lewandowski back to the 4 spot. And Kenneth Gurrell is caught right back up to that pack. These guys fighting not only help Gurrell catch up to them, but Brandon Buchberger is only a second behind this pack and only half a second behind Kenneth Gurrell. I'd say Buchberger has safely caught himself up to this top pack. We now have 6 cars up here. Going to be a really great points night for all of these drivers. I believe I saw 39 or 4,000 strength of field for tonight's race. So definitely don't want to miss this one. Don't want a bad result tonight because I don't think any of the next splits over the course of the week are going to be nearly this high. So this is the one to be in. As we saw some netcode contact back there, but everyone seems to be okay. So a little bit of false smoke giving us hope for a caution, but that's not going to happen. As Brandon Buchberger now gets around into the 5th position. He is now in that top 5, going to try and leave Kenneth Gurrell in the dust and try and catch up to Josh Batista and get himself in the 4th. Thomas Lewandowski all over the rear fuel tank of Derek Love once again. And these guys, I wonder if they're going to try and play nice and push each other and try and run away from 3rd place James Watson and Josh Batista. So you're going to be single file just about the whole way through the pack as we are starting to near the halfway mark of this race. Indy is not known for having a lot of cautions, so I don't believe we're going to get one. I think this one's going to be a battle of tire wear. Who has the car that's wearing the tires the least, kind of sitting back there and relaxing, and I think that guy is James Watson. Right now, he's sitting by himself, not losing any time to the two behind, but not gaining any time to the two in front. Sitting there, waiting patiently as we approach lap number 19. Going to be 21 laps remaining now. Closest battle on track is going to be that one for the top spot. As Thomas Lewandowski still all over that rear bumper of Derek Love. Not able to pull out and make a move just yet, but I'm not quite sure that he wants to. Best seat in the house right now will be the number 39 car of James Watson. Riding on board now with the 39 of James Watson. Kind of just sitting there, taking it all in, watching the show unfold in front of him. He's got a safe 0.2 of a second gap to the cars behind, so all he's got to do is sit there in the draft to these guys and wait for them to make a mistake, and that top spot is all his, as we are now halfway, cross flags in the air for this 40-lap feature in the Silver Crown Cup cars. Both Lewandowski and Derek Love getting way loose, hanging the back end out, coming out of turn number 2. Turn 2 seems to be the hot spot for getting these cars all wound up. It's always interesting to me about the line Watson runs around this track is he runs it way, way high. He does not cross those left side tires over that white line in the turns 1 and turn 3, but in turn 4 he seems to get it way, way low, I guess trying to straighten out the even numbered corners of this track, try and get a huge run down these straightaways. As James Watson has to dive up high, that's going to be Brandon Buchberger taking over the 3rd position. Brandon Buchberger, where did he come from? He was sitting back there 3 seconds off these top guys. They started fighting, and all of a sudden, Buchberger is now the fight. As our two leaders run side by side now down the backstretch, Buchberger's got the best seat in the house. All he's got to do is sit back and wait. Maybe if the door opens, step right through and take over the top spot. Going to be single file now for the top 5. Closest battle on track is going to be for the 12th position. As Zach Evans and Tracy Petter's in the wall. That gives Zach Evans the 11th position very, very easily. Of course, we point the cameras at them and they quit battling. It's Murphy's Law all over again. James Watson now going to be trying to close the gap on Brandon Buchberger. The fire is on now, as Watson has to try and fight to catch up in the second half of this race if he wants to get back there towards the top. One car in the back, shooting towards the grass. They're going to be okay, though. Catches it before it goes into the grass. Buchberger now looking to the inside of Derek Love. Not able to make anything happen just yet, but kind of just letting him know, hey, I'm here and I'm going to make a move. You open that door once again. Derek Love now all over the rear bumper of Thomas Lewandowski. It's almost like the tables have been flipped in the second half of the race. Derek Love now doing the chasing, where first half of the race kind of looked like it was the Lewandowski show at the beginning and then the Love show at the end, so hopefully he's looking for a repeat of that in the second half. Buchberger, though, trying to make it his show. He's all over the rear bumper of Derek Love. Peeking his nose towards the inside. Nothing there quite yet, but Derek definitely knows he's there. He got a little bit of a love tap going down the back straightaway saying, hey, I really want this spot, so don't mess up. What's interesting to me is we're not seeing Thomas Lewandowski snake down the front stretch like he was earlier in this race. Maybe you noticed that was losing him a little more time than he was really anticipating. So just sticking it in line and not letting them make the move into the corner rather than snaking all over the straightaway as you're approaching the corner. Working lap number 24 out of 40. Only 15, 16 laps remaining in this one. So this race is going by very, very quickly. Doing about 180, 190 miles an hour around this circuit. Only 2.5 miles. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's a long track. But they get around here very, very quickly. Working lap number 24. About to be 25 as the field comes out of turn number 4. All three of these drivers running very, very different lines. They almost hit the same spot in the mid-corner, but they all seem to be exiting a little differently. Lewandowski and Buchberger bringing it all the way out to the wall, where Derek Love being a little more conservative, not letting the car get all the way up to the wall. Maybe he's worried about his race car. It's not handling the best and not really all that confident that he can bring it all the way up there without getting into the wall. About a tenth of a second separating all three cars in the top three. James Watson going to be a little bit further back, about 0.6 of a second behind those top three. Kind of losing the draft a little bit. Got to wait for these guys up front to get double file again, start battling and see if he can catch up to them. Josh Batista also a little more timid now, not getting right on the rear bumper. And oh, Batista is around in the wall, somehow saves that race car. A little bit of damage on the front Kardashian of that machine. And that's going to have him lose the draft. So now James Watson lost all his help. He's going to really need a caution or these top three to start battling if he wants to catch right back up to him. Top three have really seemed to tone it down, though, not battling nearly as hard as we saw them in the early portions of this race. Only 14 laps remaining, 13 laps now remaining in this race. So the heat is going to get turned on real soon, just waiting for them to flip the switch, hit the pilot light, and get ready to go. Buchberger seems to be like he's on the money, though. He's going to try and chase down Derek Love once again. Looking like he's going to get a little bit of a better exit off of turn number 2, and that's going to allow him to suck right up to the rear fuel tank of Derek Love. Does he make the move in the turn number 3? No, he's going to sit there and push Derek Love. See if they can catch up to Lewandowski and try and play some teamwork and let those two blue race cars go out there and fight for the lead later in this race. Leave that Team Watson Racing status machine in the dust. Derek Love now all over the rear bumper of Thomas Lewandowski, working lap number 28. They come through turn number 1, and Lewandowski picks up about a tenth of a second over Derek Love. Buchberger is also going to try and close that gap. Seems like he's picking up some time. He seems to be exiting out of turn number 2 the best out of any of these three cars, but struggling a little bit out of turn number 4. And the money turn is turn number 4. That's the one that delivers you to the front stretch. It brings you to that checkered flag. So much rather get turn number 4 right than turn number 2. But he's going to have to make do at this point. Maybe play with the weight jacker if he can, but I don't think he's going to be able to. He's got to work on some help if he wants to get by these top 2 cars. Working lap number 29 now, only 11 laps remaining. Waiting to see who's going to make the move, who's going to make the bobble, who's going to get into the wall possibly. And do we get a caution here late in this race that stacks the whole field all back together? Buchberger has to dive all the way down, almost under that white line to try and avoid Derek Love. Both those cars getting way loose coming out of turn number 2. The sun shines heavily on turn number 2, makes that pavement very, very slick, and these cars very hard to drive. Doesn't matter if you give them wings or not, very easy to smack the wall out of turn number 2. On the flip side, turn number 4 is cooled and shaded by the grandstands. makes the cars very, very pushy instead of loose, as J.R. Hildebrand found out in the 2011 running of the Indy 500, unfortunately throwing that win away, giving it to Dan Weldon. Unfortunately, it would be Dan Weldon's last start and last win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But right now, we've got the Silver Crowns. Brandon Buchberger still there in that third spot, trying to catch down these top two. He's going to have to get to the rear bumper of Derek Love once again. Love, once again, getting real loose off of turn number 2, but he's going to need some help from Buchberger if they want to catch Thomas Lewandowski. Lewandowski doing a very, very good job of keeping his nose clean and running away from these two. Only 10 laps remaining here in this one. Derek Love bringing the gap down to only a 1/10 of a second as they enter turn 1, but Thomas Lewandowski is just able to get through the corners so much better and picks up about 1/2 a tenth each time they go through the turns. Doesn't pick up anything out of turn number 2, does pick up a little bit on exit, but down with the draft, Derek Love's going to close that gap right back up, and that'll bring him right to the rear fuel tank. Not quite close enough to make the dive down and make the move, but I'm thinking as we get closer and closer towards the end of this race, you might see a shunt going into one of the turns and possibly a bump and run. Not something I think I thought I would ever say here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's a short track term, but these things make this track feel like a short track. Derek Love now making the move towards the inside on Thomas Lewandowski. He's going to have the advantage coming into the short chute. Coming out of the big corner, though. Turn number 2, it's still going to be Derek Love, but Lewandowski has the advantage. He's got extra speed from running that high side. It's going to be Lewandowski out ahead by about an inch. Still side by side. Derek Love's going to have the advantage on the inside. Let's see if he can clear him, because if he can't clear him, that's going to give Lewandowski the position as they cross the start-finish line with the big run he gets off of turn number 4 on that high side. Still side by side coming through the corner. Out the exit, still there, still there. It's going to be Lewandowski once again ahead by a nose. Give this lap to Lewandowski. Does Derek Love have enough to come back? No, he does not. By 1/1000th of a second, Thomas Lewandowski leads the lap. Derek Love now ahead into turn number 1. Still side by side, though, and now Brandon Buchberger kind of gets to play God a little bit. Who does he want to push down the line? His optimal is to just keep these guys side by side all the way till they get to the white flag lap. Then Buchberger can go and make his move after these guys have burnt all their stuff up. Running side by side like this, on the high side, you're burning that right rear up. Car wants to get way loose. On the flip side, run the low side, you want to burn that right front up. That tire is getting very hot. The car does not want to turn that sharply. It wants to ride all the way out to the wall. So you're going to have a very loose Lewandowski on the high side, a very tight Derek Love on the low side, and that'll make it real easy for Brandon Buchberger to shoot his way up the middle. These guys still side by side now. It's been 4 laps they've done this, and they have not touched a thing. Lewandowski coming very close to the outside wall a couple times, and it looks like he's going to clear Derek Love. Can he make the block down? No, he can't. Derek Love going to be clawing back. They're side by side once again going into turn number 3. You can see Brandon Buchberger back there getting just a little bit antsy. He keeps swapping lines over and over again. Derek Love getting real squirrely. It's going to allow Lewandowski possibly to clear him down the front stretch. Not quite yet. They're still even. Derek Love, I don't know how he's getting these huge runs down this front straightaway after getting so sideways coming out of the corners. Usually that burns up all your speed, but Derek Love able, I don't know if he's got some nitrous in there, maybe a supercharger he's hidden from the tech guys, maybe just a couple extra cubes of displacement, but he seems to have some extra horsepower in that machine. That time he had some help from Brandon Buckberger from behind. And now Derek Love is completely clear of Lewandowski. That's going to allow Buckberger and Lewandowski to fight. They almost make contact in the short chute coming in the turn number 4. Nothing yet out of them. Lewandowski, I think I called it. That car looks very, very loose and difficult to drive now. Definitely overheated that right rear tire a little bit. Looks like Derek Love is going to be the winning car out of this fight as we hit lap number 36. Only 4 laps remaining. Lewandowski, you can see him almost kissing the rear bumper of Derek Love. Lewandowski definitely much, much better in the mid-quarter, but Derek definitely has much more of a straightaway car. Makes it a very, very even fight here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with how tight and low banked these corners are and how long these straightaways are. This track is absolutely massive. If you've never been to it, largest sporting venue I think I've ever seen. This track and Daytona are 2.5 miles, but this track, the way it's laid out, is just so much larger. You can fit 4 or 5 of the Vatican City on the infield. But that's not going to matter right now as Lewandowski dives to the inside. He's going to be side by side now with Derek Love. Only 3 laps remaining here. Buckberger, you can see him getting very, very antsy. Gives a shove to Lewandowski. Thankfully, everyone keeps their cars in one piece. These guys running only inches apart now. Not giving anyone an ounce of room. James Watson sitting all the way back there in the 4th position. Hoping, begging for a caution. Hoping especially that these guys wreck themselves and gives him the top spot. And he won't have to fight for it after the green flag drops if we do get a caution. Sign-on checking in saying Josh Batista appreciation post. Josh Batista running back there in the 5th position. Doing very, very well for himself. Keeping himself clean. Doesn't look like he has any pressure in front or behind, as Lewandowski is now your race leader. Those 2 blue machines running side by side for the 2nd position. Give that one to Derek Love, but Brandon Buckberger on the inside. It's a repeat of what we saw with Derek Love and Lewandowski before, but these guys need to get single file once again if either of them want to win. Thomas Lewandowski now running away from these guys. That gap is up over half a second. But these guys get single file, and they pick up a 10th in that straightaway alone. So the key is they're going to have to run single file if they want to catch him and pass him. Fight for the lead after you both are ahead of Lewandowski because he is the target right now. I can't believe how Derek Love has kept that car in one piece. You see him wiggling all over the place as he exits turn number 2 and turn number 4. So hard to save these machines. They are some of the easiest cars to slide on the service, but you get them more than 5-10 degrees yawed out, and it's game over. As Thomas Lewandowski has to worry about lap traffic now up ahead. Only 2 laps remaining, and we almost got away from this one without any lap traffic, but you see that car up there of Nick Camargo might pose an issue to Thomas Lewandowski and allow Derek Love or Brandon Buckberger to get by. On the flip side, Lewandowski's going to be able to draft off of Nick Camargo, and quite possibly that might be the difference between leading this race when the checkered flag comes out and sitting in 2nd when the checkered flag comes out. As they come off of turn number 4, approaching the white flag, Nick Camargo is going to pull into the pit lane. Lap traffic is not going to be an issue. Only going to be 1 more lap to go. It's going to be Lewandowski across the line first. Derek Love only a 1/10 of a second behind now. Right on the rear bumper of Lewandowski. He's going to have to give it one last stab as they go into turn number 2, or it's game over. Love going to try and hit the apex early, see if he can get some extra speed coming off of the corner. He is there. Lewandowski dives to the inside for the block. It's going to be Derek Love side by side now. He's going to have the high side. He's gotten it across the line by a thou on the high side before. Let's see if he can do it again. He's going to need some help from Buckberger, though. Who is Buckberger going to push to the win? They make contact down the short chute. Both cars keep it pointed the right direction. Coming in through turn number 4, it's going to be Derek Love easily in the lead now. Does Lewandowski have any fight back? Anything left to give for Derek Love? No, he doesn't, and Buckberger's going to try and take it from Lewandowski. It's not going to matter, though. Derek Love wins here in the 40-lapper, 100-mile race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buckberger sending it way in, trying to give Derek Love a little love tap. saying, hey, nice job, man, because that was one hell of a fight. So it's going to be Derek Love, your winner. Let's see if we can pull up our race results here. So Derek Love finally getting it done. He is going to be your race winner here after 40 laps. Thomas Lewandowski going to come home in the second position. Brandon Buchberger finishing third. James Watson 10. James Watson 10, 39. There's only one of them. We love him. It's Watson. He's going to finish in that fourth position. Josh Batista finishing fifth. Mitch Stravnosky in the sixth position. Laura Gerhardt, seventh. Colton Tyndall, eighth. Ben Carswell coming home very respectfully in the ninth position. And Kenneth Carell rounding out your top 10. Tracy Petter finishing 11th. Zach Evans finishing 12th. DL Lemon all the way up to 13th position after starting dead last in the field, making it up 6 spots. Joe Gauthier finishing 14th. Derek Rovalid 15th. Jeffrey Stanton, unfortunately, in the 16th position after running so well in the early part of this race. Jacob Dunn 17th. David Klaptoski 18th. And Nick Camargo, unfortunately, rounding out the field in the 19th position. He did make it a top split, though. This is one of his first top split races in this car. Very, very difficult car to get into in the top split, and just making it there is a huge win. So congratulations to all of these drivers, and especially congratulations to Derek Love, finally getting it done. I think that's his first win of the season, so fantastic job. So, first up for interviews, the only guy I see in here is going to be that number 3 car of Derek Love, so we'll pull him in. And Derek, what a fantastic race. Got the move done in short shoot between turn number 3 and 4. Were you a little bit afraid there was going to be some contact there, and how did you keep it pointed in the right direction?
Man, that was a race. That's right. Shout out to Thomas, man. We kept it together, at least, you know. I think he anticipated I was going to come up a little bit earlier. I didn't intend to keep him pinched down there. I'm watching the replay. My car is a little loose right off of 3 there, so I can't run it up to the wall quite as quick. So that's where we kind of get together. And I just kept my foot in it. You know, you get some of these guys, they're real good. We can usually manage it and keep it straight. And I was always good off 4, so I knew if I could get in position, that's the only place I had speed. I was losing him off of 2, but off 4 I felt really good. So I knew if I could get there, I'd be all right.
Did you have a blower or something on that car? Because it looked like Lewandowski was so much better in the corners, but especially coming out of turn 4, it looked like you would get the car half sideways, get it straight, and hit the nitrous, and you would just be right back on his rear bumper and making the move again going into turn number 1. Is it just something special sauce with the setup, or?
Yeah, I just hope they're not calling me to the R&D center, you know. So we
got to take that number 3 car to the white trailer.
I mean, I couldn't really know if it was that much of the draft, or because you always get that false sense of, man, my car is so much faster. I did feel like, though, side by side, I was a little bit quicker. So that and with the draft, it definitely, I noticed that. We got to talk to the crew chief, and I'm not too worried about it buying a mistake done tonight.
Yeah, thankfully here on iRacing, no white trailer parked there on the infield to take your car back and tear it apart. So you will be our winner here tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Anyone you want to thank for tonight's win?
Let's thank you, Patrick. I'm sure you did a fantastic job without Chris here. I'm sure it actually went better than normal. This is probably going to be the highest rated clip of all time. They'll be talking about it in decades to come. So,
you're flattering.
Turning point for NRN right here. Shout out Thomas, clean race. Brandon, appreciate the pumps, keeping it clean with me as well. And of course, Street Side Classics. So we'll see you later.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, Derek.
See ya.
I think Derek's trying to get some brownie points. Next up, we will bring in Thomas Lewandowski, our second place finisher. Seemed to be the fastest car all night, but Derek just had something for you right there on that last lap, and he got it done. But first of all, did you have fun tonight? That looked like a fantastic race the whole way through.
I did, and yeah, he just, pinched me down off of 3. I mean, I'm shocked we didn't wreck. You know, he wrecks a lot, and it's not a coincidence. it's his racing style. Like, it's I'm just amazed that we didn't involve like flipping into the catchments there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I thought I had the best car, but the draft was just so big here that me pulling away in the corners actually like hurt me. I'm pretty sure because they would just get bigger runs on the straightaway then.
Yeah, it looked like in that 400-foot long short shoot, you guys made contact about 6 times on that final lap. And yeah, your car definitely looked the fastest in the corners. You picked up about a tenth and a half each time you went through the mid corner, whether it was turn 1, 2, 3, or 4. But coming out of turn 4 and turn number 2, it seemed like they just picked up that tenth and a half right back on you. So it was very, very fun to watch up here in the booth because it was like you pulled away here and they caught right back up and pulled away there.
Yeah, 3 and 4, it was almost wide open. So, that was basically like just like a Daytona corner where they could really utilize the whole draft there because there wasn't really much lifting. So that's how that kind of played out because I'd pull away and then with that corner being just so fast with the weather, the time of day, and like the wind, just all kind of came together and it makes for interesting dynamics because every time you go to these tracks, like the weather plays like a big role with how they kind of drive.
Yeah, and weather plays a huge role here at Indy with how large this track is. All 4 of these corners are profiled exactly the same. They're the same shape, and they all drive so completely different.
Oh yeah, it's like one of my favorite tracks to race on, pretty much in any car. It's just so much fun. It's so challenging just to do laps by yourself, on this track, let alone you're, racing people side by side and stuff.
Well, hell yeah. We'll let you go, but before we do that, you got to give all the sponsor plugs and thank yous, man.
Oh, just shout out to everyone at the Drill Aisle, John Fraser, Larry, Marcus, Bob, all the guys, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting these. You guys do a great job, and it's always nice to have you guys, broadcasting these for people to watch.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words, and we'll let you go, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too. Thank you. And last but certainly not least is going to be 3rd place finisher Brandon Buckberger. Brandon, you were way back there, completely hung out the dry, lost the draft, and all of a sudden you're up there fighting for the lead. So how'd you do it, man?
I never fought for the lead. I never could get by anybody.
But you were there right with them in the top 3, and we were all the way back talking how you were up there leading that second pack, and out of nowhere, I had the in-car on James Watson, and you drove right on by. Where'd you come from, man?
I qualified like junk like normal, and I'm back there with all the idiots, so I gotta chase my way through, but I don't know how I got through that without any draft help. I'm speechless by that.
You had one hell of a race car underneath you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated with that race. Shouldn't have qualified back there, and I shouldn't have never been back there in that position anyway to burn up my stuff to to try to get up there, and it just you just can't pass. Like once you get up there, you can't pass. I don't know if it's the competition's so close now, but it's just frustrating.
I got you, man. Yeah, you were right there. It almost seemed like you could play God a little bit back there and pick who you wanted to push, but just not able to get underneath them and make the move.
Yeah, I probably pushed the wrong person, but who knows?
Well, we're going to let you go. Before we do that, got to give all your sponsor plugs and thank yous.
No sponsorship.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you very much for coming out here, putting on one hell of a show, and hopefully we're talking to you on the top spot next week.
Yeah, if I don't get dumped again.
Oh, a very, very frustrated Brandon Buckberger. But what a fantastic show we had tonight. Like I said before, no Chris Graham tonight. He's out there shooting real-world race cars, some 600 micro sprints. So he'll be back here in the booth for Monday night next week. But next up on the National Race Network, this Wednesday, we have the Sim Racers Club at Watkins Glen. You're going to see me in the car, Chris Graham up on the booth, and hopefully I've got something for Johnny Avila. That'll be at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the Indy Pro doubleheader at the Iowa Speedway. Iowa, a fantastic track for those cars. It's like a super speedway just like this, just shrunk down with some smaller cars, so looking forward to some fantastic racing from then. That rounds out this Monday night, and that's our schedule for the week. My name is Patrick Byrne. I want to thank all of you very, very much for watching. Thank all of the drivers for putting on fantastic shows here week in, week out, and can't wait to be back here up in the booth once again. Thank you to Chris Graham for letting me take control of this beast. I don't know why he lets me do it, but here we are. So happy to head off the Ape Minus team. On that note, thank you very much and have a great night, everybody.